Cal Morgan didn't mean to get lost. It was his first week on the outpost Station 17, built on a rocky moon near the neutral zone. It wasn't a place humans usually worked. It had high gravity, glowing green plants, and most of the crew were aliens with tall heads, long arms, and strange glowing eyes. He had only come here to fix a power relay. The human section was small, but the wiring went deep into the alien quarters. His wrist display showed the directions, but the signals kept cutting out. No, wait. Right, he muttered, checking the blinking map again. He walked down, a curved hallway with soft blue lights. The walls hummed gently, and doors opened and closed with a whisper. Moved toward a quiet chamber with a half-open door, thinking it was the relay room. He stepped inside without knocking. The air inside was warm and filled with a soft, flowery scent. He took one step forward and froze. A tall, silver-skinned woman stood with her back to him. Her markings shimmered like starlight across her smooth body. She had long, dark hair tied behind her head, and strange symbols glowed faintly across her back. She turned, surprised, her golden eyes meeting his. Cal's mouth opened, but no words came out. In one smooth move, she reached for the blaster on the wall and aimed it straight at his chest. He dropped the toolkit with a loud clatter and held up both hands. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I thought this was the power room." Her eyes narrowed. Her finger rested on the trigger, and Cal could see her jaw tighten. "Get down," she ordered in a sharp, accented voice. He obeyed, kneeling slowly, still shaking. "I swear I didn't know. I didn't see anything. Well, I didn't mean to see anything." She pressed a button on her wristband. A soft voice spoke in her language, and then she nodded. Within seconds, 2 tall Zathari guards entered the room. They were armored and serious. They looked at the woman, then at Cal. "What happened?" one of them asked in Galactic Basic. The woman answered calmly, but her words made Cal feel sick. "This human has dishonored me. By our law, he must stand before the council." "Wait, what?" No, please. It was a mistake, but the guards pulled him up and led him away. Cal sat in a room that looked like a courtroom, but smelled like flowers. Seats were made of polished stone, and several alien officials sat around a floating table. The woman stood beside him, now wearing a formal robe, her hair shining in a tight braid. An old Zathari elder spoke first. "Human Cal Morgan, by entering the private chamber of Commander Vena during a cleansing ritual, you have broken sacred law. By our customs, such dishonor must be answered." Cal stood up, sweating. "I didn't know. I just walked in the wrong door. It wasn't on purpose." Vena didn't speak. She kept her eyes forward, face calm like carved stone. Another elder nodded. "Intent is not the only measure. Our traditions are clear. To restore balance, the proper path is ... union." "Tao." Blinked union. "What does that mean?" The elder looked at him kindly. "You must marry Commander Vena. That is the only way to return her honor." Cal almost fainted. "Mary? Wait, I don't even know her. I'm not ready for that. I was just trying to fix a power relay." The council members murmured. Vena finally turned to him and spoke. "Do not think this is my wish, human. But if I return to my world marked by shame, I lose everything I have earned. Command, honor, family, all gone." Cal looked into her golden eyes. They weren't angry anymore. They were proud, firm, but also sad. "This is crazy," he whispered. The lead elder spoke again. "You have until sunrise to accept. If not, the punishment will be exile from all Alliance posts." Back in his temporary room, Cal sat with his head in his hands. His human officer, Captain Lewis, paced nearby. "Look, Cal, it's a mess, but this is how their laws work. They're not forcing you, but if you say no, you'll lose your job. Maybe even get banned from galactic space." "I didn't even touch her," Cal cried. "I know. But some species care more about things like privacy and honor than we do. It's not about what you did, it's what you saw." "I didn't mean to see anything either." Captain Lewis sighed. Like it or not, they're treating this like a real thing. She's not just anyone. She's Commander Vena. She saved a colony from pirates last year. The Scifi worship her like a hero. Cal rubbed his forehead. Great, I embarrassed a war hero. That night, Cal couldn't sleep. He thought about going home, quitting, even hiding, but he also thought about Vena. The way she stood tall, even when embarrassed. The way she didn't yell or panic. She could have shot him, but she didn't. And maybe, just maybe, she didn't hate him. At dawn, 2 Scifi guards knocked on his door. The council is waiting, they said. Cal stood in silence for a long moment. Then he took a breath. Take me to them. The morning light on Station 17 was dim, filtered through layers of thick clouds outside the dome. Cal followed the Scifi guards quietly. His hands were sweaty. His mind was a storm of thoughts. He still couldn't believe what was happening. He was about to face a council again, not to defend himself, to give them an answer. When he entered the chamber, the Scifi elders were already seated. Commander Vena stood beside them, her expression unreadable. She wore ceremonial robes, made of blue and silver threads, and her long braid was tied with polished stones. She didn't look at Cal. The lead elder spoke first. Have you come to give your decision, human Cal Morgan? Cal swallowed. Yes, ... I have. Every eye turned toward him. I didn't come here looking for trouble, Cal began, his voice shaking. I didn't mean to dishonor anyone. But I understand this means something deep to your people. I don't want to ruin someone's life because of a stupid mistake. He turned to Vena. So, if you'll have me, Commander, then yes, I'll do it. A long silence followed. Then the elder gave a slow, respectful nod. It is done. The next few hours moved faster than Cal could understand. The outpost prepared for a full Scifi union ceremony. The alien engineers wove glowing banners through the halls. A special chamber was decorated with shining crystals and silver vines. The wedding would take place in less than 1 rotation. There was no time for fear. Captain Lewis found Cal in the tech room, trying to fix a relay just to stay busy. You're handling this better than I thought, Lewis said with a half smile. I'm not sure I'm handling anything, Cal replied. I feel like I'm floating. 1 minute I'm fixing circuits, next I'm getting married to an alien warrior. Lewis clapped a hand on his shoulder. Welcome to life in deep space. That evening, Cal was brought to a quiet chamber with soft lights and cushions. Vena stood inside, waiting. She wasn't wearing armor or robes, just a simple dress tied at the shoulder. It was the first time Cal saw her without formal clothing. She looked ... calmer. You agreed, she said softly. I didn't want you to lose everything. Vena nodded slowly. I expected you to refuse. Why didn't you just let them? Send me away, because I value truth, she replied. You did not come to harm me. You were lost. Scared. But you didn't lie. And he also didn't want exile. Not for myself. Not for you. They stood in silence for a moment. The air between them was less tense than before. Do you hate me? Cal asked. Vena tilted her head. I don't know you well enough to hate you. He laughed a little. That's fair. She walked to the window and looked out. It was not the path I imagined for myself. I trained for years. I earned rank. I thought I would lead a fleet. Instead, I am preparing to bond with a human who entered the wrong room. Double quotes. Yeah, sorry about that, Cal said, rubbing the back of his neck. Vena gave a small, almost hidden smile. Perhaps it is not such a curse. Our union may change. Things, maybe, for the better. The wedding ceremony began the next morning. Cal wore traditional armor made of smooth plates and crystal-threaded cloth. It was light, but strong. He felt strange in it, like a knight from a storybook. 2 Scifi warriors stood by his side as guards of honor. Vena entered with slow, graceful steps. Her robe shimmered like starlight. Music played, soft and low, created by wind passing through hanging chimes. The room was full Scifi soldiers, human crew, and curious diplomats. The elder raised a glowing crystal between them. You stand before us, not as strangers, but as 2 bound by fate. From today, your paths will walk together. Speak your vows. Vena spoke first. I am Commander Vena of the Zithri High Guard. I vow to stand beside this human, to protect his name, and to share his steps as we walk forward. Cal took a deep breath. I'm Cal Morgan. I might not understand your ways yet, but I promise to respect them. I promise to try, to learn, and to be there when you need me. The elder lowered the crystal. You are now joined. Not by force, but by choice. There was no cheering, no clapping. Just a hum that filled the room, a peaceful, warm sound of unity. Later that night, Cal sat beside Vena in the quiet garden dome. Plants from 5 different worlds glowed softly around them. Double quotes. So, dot. We're married now, Cal said, still. Half in shock. Vena looked at him. Though I believe our journey has only begun. What happens next? He asked. We learn, she replied. About each other, about what it means to walk this path. Cal nodded. Sounds fair. He looked up at the stars through the dome. I thought I came out here to fix machines. But maybe this is what I was really meant to fix. Vena's golden eyes turned toward him. But her silence wasn't cold. It was calm. Accepting they sat there, 2 souls from different worlds, bound by one strange twist of fate and maybe something more waiting to grow. The days after the wedding moved slowly, but felt heavy. Cal and Vena were no longer just 2 strangers forced into a strange situation. Now they were something else, partners by law, bonded by vows, and watched by everyone on Station 17. Whispers followed them in the halls. Some humans gave awkward smiles. Others avoided Cal like he was cursed. Many Zithri bowed slightly to Vena, but their eyes held curiosity. In judgment, Cal spent most of his time fixing things, vents, lights. It helped him think. Every now and then, he'd hear a Zithri word he didn't understand and wonder if it was about him. He wasn't sure if people were mocking him or just interested. Either way, it felt uncomfortable. Vena, on the other hand, kept her routine the same. She trained with soldiers in the gravity room. She read mission reports in her chamber. She walked with her back straight and head high as if nothing had changed. But when she and Cal were alone, her walls came down just a little. One evening, Cal entered their shared quarters carrying a small dish. I brought food, he said. Don't worry, I asked the kitchen to make something mild. Last time your meal burned my tongue. Vena raised an eyebrow. You did not follow my advice. I told you not to eat anything glowing green. Yeah, well, I was trying to impress you, Cal joked, sitting beside her on the long seat. You nearly passed out. Still counts. As effort, right? She looked at him for a moment. Then she nodded slowly. Yes, it does. They ate in silence for a while, but it was a peaceful silence, you know, Cal said. We haven't really talked much since the ceremony. Vena nodded. We have been busy. Still, don't you think it's weird? I mean, we're married, but we barely know anything about each other. Ask, then, she said, setting her bowl down. What do you wish to know? Cal blinked. Oh. Okay. Let's start simple. Favorite food? Vena thought for a second. Spiced root stew. My mother made it when I was young. Nice. Mine's a cheeseburger. You probably don't even know what that is. I do, she replied. Humans speak of it often. Some call it a treasure of your culture. Yeah, it kind of is, Cal chuckled. Your turn, she said. Ask again. He scratched his head. Why did you join the guard? Her golden eyes became distant. I wanted to protect those who could not protect themselves. My sister was taken during a border conflict. She was young. I was too weak. To stop it, Cal's smile faded. I'm sorry. Don't be. It was long ago, but it shaped who I became. He nodded. I joined the tech fleet because, well, I wanted to see the stars. Earth was loud and crowded. I liked machines. They made sense. Didn't yell, didn't judge. Vena tilted her head. You are more complex than you appear. Thanks. I think they shared a small laugh. Days passed, and their bond slowly began to grow. Not fast, not forced. just quiet moments where they learned each other's ways. One afternoon, Vena invited Cal to watch her train. The gravity room was filled with spinning droids and energy blades. She moved like wind and steel, graceful, focused. Cal watched from a bench, amazed. When she finished, he clapped. "You're like a space ninja," he said. "Ninja?" she repeated. Double quotes, ancient Earth warriors. Fast, silent, deadly. "I will accept the compliment," she replied, wiping sweat from her brow. "Can you teach me? You wish to learn combat?" "Yeah, think it's time I stop being just the guy who fixes lights." Vena looked at him seriously. Well, training begins tomorrow. The next few days were hard. Cal woke early, stretched his tired muscles, and practiced with a training stick. Vena corrected his every mistake, but never mocked him. Elbows in, knees bent, eyes forward. She repeated again and again. He fell. He got bruised, but he also got better. And one night, as they walked back to their quarters, she said quietly, "You learn fast." "Really?" "Yes, you do not quit." "It is... admirable," Cal smiled. "But peace doesn't last forever." On the sixth night, while Cal worked on a power grid, alarms blared across Station 17. Red lights flashed. Voices shouted over the comm. "All units, 2 defensive positions. Unknown vessels approaching." Cal dropped his tools and ran to the control center. He found Vena already there, armored and armed. "What's going on?" he asked, heart racing. 3. "Thorin ships," she said. "No warning, no answer to hails. This is a raid. Do you need me?" She looked at him. "Yes, come with me." As the station prepared for battle, Cal followed Vena to the command deck. Humans and Zathari worked side by side. For the first time, Cal saw how their union had changed things. People didn't whisper, now they listened. "Defense shields up." "Activate drone net," Vena ordered. "Yes, Commander," a Zathari officer responded. The enemy ships fired first. Bright beams hit the shields. The dome shook. Cal grabbed a console to stay upright. "Engineering reroute power to the shield generators," said into the comm. "On it," replied a voice from below Cal. Moved quickly, fingers flying over the panels. Vena stood firm at the front, issuing orders without fear. They fought together not just as husband and wife, but as a team, and in that moment, surrounded by chaos, Cal realized something important. He didn't regret what had happened, not the mistake, not the wedding, not any of it, because somewhere in the middle of all the mess, something real had begun. The Thorin ships opened fire again. Red beams lit up the sky above Station 17, making the dome flash and tremble. Everyone on the command deck moved quickly, voices sharp and focused. Commander Vena stood at the front, her eyes glowing with calm control. "Focus fire on the lead vessel. We must break their formation." "Target locked," one of the officers said. The station's defense turrets roared to life. Heavy energy blasts shot back at the attackers. Cal standing beside Vena at a secondary console worked fast to route more power to the shield grid. "You've got a gap in Sector 4, he said. "I'm patching it now." Vena glanced at him and gave a small nod. "Good work." The battle raged for almost 20 minutes. Cal could barely think straight, his hands shaking, his heart pounding. He followed orders, gave commands of his own, and helped the human and Zathari teams stay connected. Then finally, one of the Thorin ships exploded in the distance, turning into a bright ball of fire. The second ship turned sharply, retreating into deep space. The third tried to hold position, but was quickly disabled by drone fire. Enemy retreat confirmed. Someone shouted, "We did it." A strange silence followed. Then the command deck filled with quiet claps and cheers, but Cal didn't cheer. He looked at Vena, who was already checking the station damage report. "Power loss in sectors 2 and 5, she said. Injuries reported in the south wing. 2 guards critical." Cal stepped closer. "What can I do?" She turned toward him, tired but focused. "Come with me. We'll help with repairs." The hours after the battle were long and hard. Cal crawled through tunnels, fixing wires, Vena walked beside medics, helping carry wounded. No one saw them as just a human technician and a Scifi commander anymore. They were partners. In every way, late that night, Cal and Vena returned to their quarters. Both were covered in dust and bruises. They sat on the edge of the bed without speaking. Then, Cal looked over at her and said, "You were incredible out there." "So were you," she replied. "You did not run." He smiled. "I wanted to. My legs were begging me to." Vena gave a soft laugh. "Then I'm glad your heart refused." They shared a quiet moment. "Do you think," Cal asked, "we're starting to become something real? Not just by law, but like for real?" Vena didn't answer at first. She looked down at her hands, then back at him. "I think," she said slowly, "that you have shown me more courage and kindness than I expected, and that makes this feel less forced." "Same here," Cal said. "You could have hated me, but you didn't. You trained me, fought beside me, saved lives with me. And now," she added, "we must face what comes next." "What comes next?" he asked. "Your people and mine will talk about what happened today," she said. "Some will support us. Others may see our union as weakness, or as something dangerous." "Dangerous?" Cal frowned. "Because it changes the rules," she explained. "Scifi don't bond with outsiders. Humans don't marry by mistake. And yet here we are." Cal leaned back. "We didn't plan this. But maybe it's what both our sides need." It? Vena nodded. "Maybe." The next day, Ambassador Yalan, an old Scifi diplomat with deep blue markings, called for a formal meeting. Representatives from both humans and Scifi sat in a wide room lined with glowing trees and metal banners. Cal and Vena stood in the center. Yelen spoke first. "You defended this station with honor. You worked together. Your bond, though strange, in its start, now serves as proof that humans and Scifi can trust each other more deeply than we thought." Some murmurs of agreement moved through the room. "Still," Yalan added, "there are concerns. Your marriage was built from accident. Some fear others may try to copy it without respect for tradition." Vena stood tall. "We did not take this bond lightly. We respected your law, and now we respect each other." Cal stepped forward. "We didn't ask to be an example. But if our actions help save lives, if our teamwork helped this station survive, then maybe it's not such a bad example." Yalan studied them for a long moment. Then he gave a slow nod. "Very well. Let the record show that this bond is now recognized by both sides, and that unity, no matter how it begins, can bring strength." In the weeks that followed, things began to change on Station 17. A mixed training group was formed, humans and Scifi soldiers learning side by side. New cultural programs were started, language classes, shared meals, music events, and Cal, he was promoted. It's no longer just a technician. He was now the station's human liaison, working directly with Scifi officers to solve problems and build trust. But more than that, he and Vena grew closer. They still had awkward moments. Small misunderstandings, cultural slips. But they also laughed more, talked deeper. And when Cal had a hard day, Vena would wait for him in the garden dome. It's quiet and patient. One evening, as they watched the stars together, Cal said, "Funny how one mistake turned into..." This Vena turned to him. "It was not a mistake. It was a beginning." Cal smiled. "Yeah, I think you're right." Station 17 had grown quieter in recent days. After the attack, the repairs were finished, the defenses improved, and the crew returned to daily routines. But something had changed. Humans and Scifi were no longer strangers. They trained together, shared meals, and slowly began to understand each other. Cal and Vena's bond had become more than just a curious event. Now it was a symbol, something that gave others a reason to believe peace between their species could work. But peace never lasted long. One morning, Scifi ship docked at the outpost. It was long and dark, marked with the emblem of the High Command. The arrival wasn't scheduled. Security teams stood ready, unsure of its purpose. Cal was in the garden dome when he got the message. Commander Vena's father has arrived. He blinked at the words. Her father? He ran to the docking bay, arriving just as the ramp lowered. A tall, older Zithari stepped out. His hair was silver like Vena's, and he wore golden armor, polished and decorated. His face was cold, and his eyes sharp. Na stood at the front of the welcome group. Her expression was calm, but Cal noticed her hands were tight at her sides. General Theron, she said. Welcome to Station 17. He nodded once. Daughter, I received news. Of your union and of the battle. Both are ... unexpected. Vena didn't flinch. You taught me to act when duty calls. I did what was needed. His eyes moved to Cal. So this is the human. Cal stepped forward and tried to smile. Hi, I'm Cal Morgan. Theron looked at him like he was a machine part that didn't quite fit. You are smaller than I expected. Cal blinked. I get that a lot. The general turned back to Vena. We will speak in private. Inside the command chamber, Vena and her father stood alone. But their voices, though quiet, were sharp. This union is not accepted by the High Council, Theron said. They question your judgment. I made a lawful choice, Vena replied. And that choice helps save this station. Commander must protect her name. Her bloodline, not joined with someone from a world that barely understands space. Vena stood tall. Then let them come question me face to face. I will not hide. Outside the chamber, Cal waited nervously. He couldn't hear much, but he didn't like the look on the general's face. Finally, Vena stepped out. He's staying for 3 days, she said. Great, Cal muttered. Plenty of time for him to glare at me. You will treat him with respect, she said firmly, but do not be afraid of him. It's easier said than done. The next few days were tense. General Theron inspected the station like he owned it. He watched training sessions, questioned officers, and spoke to ambassadors. Everywhere he went, eyes followed him. Some admired him, others feared him. He barely spoke to Cal, except for short, cold greetings. On the second evening, during a shared dinner, Theron suddenly asked, Human? What are your plans with my daughter? Cal nearly dropped his fork. We're still figuring that out. We're learning about each other. Learning. Theron raised an eyebrow. Daughter does not need a student. She needs an equal. Then she's got one, Cal replied, his voice steadier now. I may not be a warrior, but I've stood by her. I've fought beside her. I didn't run. Theron stared at him for a long moment. Then he stood and left the room without another word. Cal sighed. Well, that could have gone worse. Vena sat beside him, quiet. He was never easy to impress, she said. But you spoke well. You sure? Because I kind of felt like I was standing in front of a lightning storm. Looked at him with soft eyes. He respects strength, not just of body, but of spirit. Today you showed both. On the final day of Theron's visit, alert came through the CUM system. Zithari scout ship missing in the nearby sector. Last signal came from within a storm belt. Without hesitation, Vena stood. Assemble a team. We're going. After them, Theron surprised everyone by joining the mission. I want to see how this station responds under pressure, said Cal. Wasn't sure if that meant Theron was helping or judging. Either way, he geared up and joined him on the ship. They reached the storm belt in under an hour. Lightning storms crackled across deep space, hiding asteroids and broken signals there, Cal said, pointing to a flashing beacon. Distress. Signal still active. Shields up. Proceed with caution, Vena ordered. They flew in carefully. The missing scout ship was damaged, spinning slowly. 2 crew members were alive inside, but their oxygen was failing. Tractor beams weaken this storm, the pilot said. We'll need to dock and pull them manually. I'll go, Cal said. We go together, Vena added. Theron didn't argue. Inside the wreck, smoke filled the air. Sparks danced around broken panels. Cal and Vena found the crew both injured, but conscious. We've got you, Cal said. Hang on. They carried the crew back to the shuttle just as the storm flared up again. One bolt of plasma scraped their hull, shaking the ship violently. "Brace," Yavena shouted. Cal held tight to the injured Scifi, refusing to let go. He could feel heat and pressure all around them, but he didn't flinch. Once back on their main ship, Theron stood near the bay doors as they re-entered. His face was unreadable. Later, as they prepared to return to Station 17, he approached Cal. "You risked your life to save ours. That's what family does, right?" Cal said. Theron studied him for a moment. Then, slowly, he nodded. That evening, before he left, General Theron spoke privately to Vena. "He is not what I expected," he admitted, "but he stood strong. That means more than bloodlines." Vena didn't smile, but her eyes softened. "Thank you, Father. Watch over each other," Theron said. "This bond, ... may be the start of something larger than us both." Then he stepped onto his ship and left without another word. A few days after General Theron left Station 17, things returned to normal, or as normal as they could be, for Cal and Vena. The mixed teams trained together, communication between humans and Scifi grew stronger, and there were fewer whispers. When the couple walked through the halls, but far from the station, something dark moved in the stars. A rogue fleet neither Thorin nor any known enemy was spotted near an abandoned outpost. They attacked without warning, destroyed communication lines, and disappeared before reinforcements arrived. 3 more attacks followed in different sectors. The pattern was spreading, and no one knew why. Station 17 received a message from Central. "Command, be alert. Unknown threat approaching neutral zones. Keep defenses active and crews ready." Vena gathered the command team. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp. "This may not be a random enemy. Someone is testing our unity. They're striking at outposts with mixed species crews, like ours." Cal sat beside her at the round table. "So they want to break trust between humans and Scifi." "Yes," Vena said. "And if we let fear take over, they will succeed." Captain Lewis leaned forward. "What's the plan?" "We stand ready," she said. "We stand together." A week later, a signal came from a small trade vessel under human protection. It was being chased by fast, unknown ships. Its last location close to Station 17. "They're coming," Vena said. "Prepare all teams." This time everyone knew what to do. Drills had become second nature. Humans and Scifi moved like one unit. Vena turned to Cal. "You'll be with me on command? Not in engineering?" "No," she said firmly. "By my side." He nodded. When the enemy fleet arrived, it wasn't just 3 ships. It was 10. Small, fast, built for speed and damage. They didn't respond to hails. They attacked immediately. Station 17's shields lit up. Blasts shook the walls. Vena gave orders sharply, her voice clear. Cal worked on routing shield power, adjusting targeting systems, and relaying signals. "Enemy trying to jam our systems," Cal shouted. "Counter with manual relays," Vena ordered. "Don't let them blind us." Drone defense swarms activated, but the attackers were aggressive. 2 human shuttles were damaged. One Scifi officer was badly hurt. Cal's hands didn't stop moving. Sweat dripped from his brow. "Backup generators failing," an officer shouted. "I'll fix it," Cal said, already moving. "You'll be exposed," Vena warned. "Then cover me," Cal replied. Cal rushed into the power core chamber. Sparks flew from broken lines. He grabbed tools and dove behind the panels. Vena and 2 guards followed, blasters ready. Enemy drones broke into the lower levels. Vena fired without hesitation, covering Cal as he reconnected power links and bypassed damaged nodes. One drone flew too close. Vena pushed Cal out of the HFY and took the hit to her shoulder. She dropped to one knee, but fired back, destroying the drone. Cal crawled to her side. "You okay?" "Just burned." She gritted through her teeth. "Keep working." He did. The power returned. Lights flashed green. "Shields back up." The shouted. "They're retreating." Vena stood slowly, clutching her arm. Cal supported her. "We did it," he said. She looked at him. "We did it together." The battle ended with only minor damage to Station 17. Several attackers, were captured. Scans showed they were from a hidden faction that hated the human Sithari alliance. The threat wasn't over, but this victory mattered. A few days later, in a quiet celebration, Station 17 held a small ceremony. Leaders gave thanks. Crews shared stories. No one talked about species or titles. Just teamwork, courage, survival. Cal stood beside Vena as she received. A new budge one, given only to those who had saved their command from total destruction. She looked at him afterward and said softly, "I would not have earned this without." You earned it yourself," Cal replied. "It just helped a little. You helped more than you know." That night, in the garden dome, Cal and Vena sat beneath the stars. "You remember the first day?" Cal asked. "When you almost shot me, I remember," Vena said. "You looked like a terrified rabbit. I felt like one." They both laughed. "I never thought I'd end up married to a Zathari commander," Cal added, "especially not after walking into the wrong room. And I never thought I'd bond with a human who fixes wires and tells bad jokes," she replied. "Hey, my jokes aren't that bad." She tilted her head. "They are." They sat close. No guards, no orders, no fear. "So what now?" Cal asked. "We want a battle. Fix the station. Save the Alliance. What's next for us?" Vena turned to him, her golden eyes soft. "We keep going. One day at a time, we learn, we grow. And maybe one day we stop being a symbol. What do we become instead?" "Choice," she said. "A reminder that something good can come from even the strangest beginning." Cal smiled. "Then I'm glad I walked into the wrong room." Vena reached out and gently took his hand. "So am I." Above them, the stars shined quietly, watching over a bond that had started by accident, grown through trust, and survived through battle, and now it was something more, something real, something strong, something lasting.